Today, we will be learning about peer influence on judgment and decision making by Cynthia Lei and Christine Qian. Peer influence on judgment and decision making has existed since the evolutionary development of social groups. We can take a look at male ape troops, for example. When one ape stops, they all stop. If one sniffs out an unfamiliar scent, they all sniff. The apes are conforming their behavior, and this allows them to work together to be on the lookout for any signs of danger. Conforming helps them stay alive, and it's a hardwired survival strategy. Just like apes, humans are social animals. Relying on our peers has become adaptive to our survival. Prehistoric humans had to live in small groups and pool resources in order to survive. As populations grew, societies began to develop. In modern times, peer influence does not always contribute to our survival. In fact, peer influence has played a significant role in bias. One study looked at the effects of social influence on ratings. We depend on ratings provided by others, like Yelp, to help us make decisions. But sometimes, this social influence can alter our perceptions of quality and value. This could potentially create herding effects, which is synonymous to bandwagoning or the bandwagon effect. The herding effect is a phenomenon in which people do something mainly because other people are doing it, regardless of their own beliefs. Muchnick et al. Hypothesized that this effect could be used to manipulate judgment and decision making. They designed a large-scale, randomized experiment to measure the effects of social influence on ratings of comments on a social news website. On this website, users could contribute news articles and discuss them by posting comments. Comments could be upvoted or downvoted with the rating equaling the sum of the votes. So like one upvote is +1 and a downvote is -1, similar to Yik Yak. Throughout the span of 5 months, 101,281 comments were submitted on the site, and each comment was randomly assigned to one of 3 treatment groups right after submission. In the uptreated, or positive manipulation group, the comment was artificially upvoted once, giving it a +1 rating. In the downtreated, or negative manipulation group, the comment was downvoted once, giving it a -1 rating. No artificial rating was imposed on the control group. As the experimental comments were posted, they were reviewed and rated by users who did not know about the manipulation. The researchers looked at the effects of manipulation on voting behavior and the effects of friendship on rating behavior. These are the results for the effects of manipulation on voting behavior. Looking at the first graph, the x-axis displays the 3 treatment groups and the y-axis shows the probability of getting upvoted when the comment is first viewed. This gives the immediate effect of the manipulation. The uptreated group had a significantly higher probability of being upvoted than the control group. If we look at the second graph, the y-axis shows the probability of getting downvoted when the comment is first viewed. It shows no significant difference between the control and uptreated group. Lastly, the third graph shows the mean score on the y-axis. This number is the average of all the users' ratings for the comments in each group throughout the 5-month time span. As you can see, the positive manipulation represented by the uptreated group significantly increased the ratings of the comments compared to the control group. This indicates the presence of herding effects over time. Based on the results, social influence made an impact on users' positive ratings, thereby instigating bias. However, it did not have an impact on negative ratings. Although the probability to downvote the downtreated group was significantly higher than that of the control, the probability to upvote the downtreated group was also significantly higher than that of the control, as shown in the graphs. These findings corrected one another, so overall, the negative manipulation did not affect users' ratings. Also, there was no significant difference in the final mean score between the 2 groups. The researchers also examined the effects of friendship on rating behavior, focalizing on peer influence rather than social influence. To make friends or enemies, users can indicate that they like or dislike each other. Looking between the 2 graphs, a user was more likely to upvote a friend's comments than an enemy's, as expected. If you look at graph A, users exhibited a tendency to herd onto their friends' up-treated comments and to correct their friends' down-treated comments. Graph B shows no significant differences between the treatment groups. Based on these results, we can conclude that peer influence made an impact on users' ratings. Users were more biased towards their friends since they rated their friends' comments positively, regardless of the manipulation. In contrast, the manipulation did not affect users' ratings on their enemies' comments.
Similar to peer influence, in-group conformity is defined as following the behavior or advice of people a person associates themselves with. In order to analyze the brain regions that are associated with in-group conformity, Stalin and his colleagues used fMRI. fMRI is a non-invasive measure of neural activity by analyzing the blood oxygen-dependent response. There are a total of 24 individuals that participated in the experiment. Upon individual patient arrival, the individuals were separated into two groups, the in-groups and the out-groups. To separate them into the two groups, individuals were shown 5 perceptual illusions per 2 seconds. An example of the perceptual illusion is the young girl, old woman illusion. The 2 possible answers for the perceptual illusions were shown on the screen and the participants were asked to choose. And using their answers, the participants were separated into the in-group, which were foreground perceivers, and the out-groups, which were background and unclassified perceivers. Following the perceptual illusion task, the participants completed the decision-making task while undergoing fMRI. In this task, the participants were shown dots on a screen and had to estimate the number of dots. Then they were shown the estimate of the previous participant of either an in-group or an out-group member, and it was analyzed whether the participant would change their answer. Conformity was assessed via calculation of trials where participants gave the same judgment as the in-group or out-group member. It was also revealed, in order to increase motivation, the best performing group would win a prize. The results of the experiment showed that there are more participants that conform to in-group judgments than the out-group. In analysis of the brain areas involved in conformity, there was activity shown in the right caudate nucleus, the subanterior cingulate cortex, right hippocampus, and the intersection of the right posterior insula and the posterior superior temporal sulcus. The fMRI scan showed the activity in the caudate was selectively enhanced when the participants conformed to the in-group, indicating that the striatum plays an important role in social influence. The striatum is also a major station for midbrain dopamine neurons and is important in reward processing. The striatum's involvement in in-group conformity also activates other lower-level processing areas such as the subanterior cingulate cortex, which is often activated in positive experiences and when the individual is socially accepted. The subanterior cingulate cortex is also shown to be more active in individuals that have a low rejection sensitivity. The fMRI also showed activity in the hippocampus, which is important for the retrieval of spatial memories. The findings suggested that people were conforming to the in-group members more often than the out-group members because the behavior of the in-group members were associated with positive effects and rewards. There was also activity shown in areas bordering the posterior superior temporal sulcus and the posterior insula. The posterior superior temporal sulcus was previously indicated as an area associated with perspective taking, also known as the theory of mind, which is defined as a theory that indicates an individual's understanding that others have their own individual perspectives on the world which can differ from theirs. The posterior superior temporal sulcus activity indicated that participants took the perspective of the others when the others were in an in-group than an out-group. The participants believed that the in-group was better than those of the out-group, and therefore the in-group was associated with greater trust. There was a bias favoring the in-group estimate over those of the out-group.
Albert and Steinberg, in a recent research article, analyzed from a social neuroscience perspective to understand what makes adolescents more likely to take risks when with peers. Albert and Steinberg indicated adolescents take risks around the time of puberty because of changes in the brain's socio-emotional reward system, which increases the sensitivity to social and emotional stimuli and heightens motivation to seek out rewards. However, as we approach adulthood, there is maturation of the brain's cognitive control system, which is involved in the regulation of goal-directed behavior and decreases in reward sensitivity.
Important brain regions responsible for structural and functional changes are in the limbic and the paralimbic areas, which include the amygdala, ventral striatum, and orbital frontal cortex. These areas are associated with dopamine release. It was found that there is a greater dopamine in adolescents in comparison to adults in response to rewards, possibly indicating that there is an increased activation in adolescents of reward-relevant subcortical regions. As a result of change in myelination and increase in white matter throughout aging, there is a functional advancement which increases integrity and efficiency between brain regions. Overall, studies have shown during adolescence we are more likely to be influenced by peers and make irrational decisions. The important brain regions that are involved are those associated with dopamine and reward systems. In order to not conform to peer-influenced biases, it is important for social influence programs to emphasize the importance of perspective taking and standing in someone else's shoes.